My name is Raka Mahesa, an amateur hiker who seeks peace more than adventure. I always believed mountains were places to reconcile with yourself, not places to chase the unknown. But that belief changed after my last expedition to Mount Mandala, a mountain rarely mentioned in the news, barely shown in hiking vlogs, and even more rarely climbed. Not because the trail was difficult, but because the mountain carried stories that were never clear. Screams with no owners, phone signals that appeared only to show unknown numbers, and beams of light drifting through fog despite there being no settlements for tens of kilometers. At first, I thought all of this was just meant to scare beginners, but one report from 2019 caught my attention. 3 hikers had disappeared for 2 days and were later found descending the slope with expressionless faces. They kept repeating one thing. "There's a tower, very tall, but not from here." There was no further explanation, no photos, no physical evidence, just that sentence and eyes that seemed unfamiliar with the world. Since then, Mount Mandala became a small obsession of mine, and one night, when the wind was calm, I decided to climb it alone. I didn't know that decision would mark the beginning of something I was never meant to witness.
The hike started as usual. The narrow trail was slick from the rain the night before. The forest was dense and sunlight struggled to reach the ground. But I enjoyed it. The crunch of twigs and the scurry of small animals always felt like their own kind of music. But as I reached the second checkpoint, something felt off. There was a strange pattern in the forest. The rows of trees looked too symmetrical. The large rocks seemed arranged, as if placed intentionally by unseen hands. Even the dirt trail felt compacted by something other than human feet. I stopped and looked around. Nothing. No birds, no insects, no wind. Absolute silence. I recorded a few seconds on my phone, just in case anything strange happened, like the stories people told. But something odd occurred. Every time I pressed the record button, the screen flickered and displayed "Signal acquired. City beacon detected." City beacon? There was no signal on this mountain. Even analog compasses went haywire when brought too close to magnets. I ignored it and continued hiking. But the higher I climbed, the more often that message appeared. Signal acquired. City beacon detected. Signal acquired. City beacon detected. As if something above was calling.
That first night, I camped on the edge of a small cliff overlooking a wide valley. Fog rose slowly, like steam from a boiling kettle. Strange, but not frightening, until I saw the light. In the distance, in the middle of a valley that should be empty, a red point of light blinked steadily, like the indicator light atop a tower. I took out my small binoculars, aimed them at the light, and my heart skipped a beat. Through the thickening fog, a tall structure stood, tower-like, radio tower-like, yet its form was strange. Its frame appeared layered and unnaturally smooth, as if not made from any metal I'd ever seen. The more I focused, the clearer it became that the tower stood exactly on an empty spot that didn't exist on any map. I checked my offline GPS. No building,
No monitoring post, no radio tower. Odd. Even stranger, when I lowered the binoculars to look directly, the tower was gone, like the fog swallowed it whole. But through the binoculars, it reappeared. This wasn't hallucination. My binoculars weren't broken. Something was there, something only visible through a lens. The red light kept blinking slowly, almost rhythmically, as if signaling, "We see you." I didn't sleep that night. I'd carried a small walkie-talkie for emergencies, though I knew signals could die completely in the mountains. As dawn broke, I turned it on just to ensure everything was normal. But the moment it powered up, a raspy voice came through the speaker. "Hello, hiker. Can you see us?" I jumped to my feet. I hadn't adjusted any frequency. The walkie-talkie didn't even show signal bars. The voice came again, clearer. "If you see the tower, don't approach the fog. The fog doesn't belong to this world." Then came a metallic clang, like something huge fell from a great height. I tried to respond. "Who is this? Where are you speaking from?" No reply, just heavy breathing, long, strained breathing, like someone trying to hold in overwhelming fear. A few seconds later, the voice whispered, very faintly, "Too late. The tower has returned your gaze." The walkie-talkie shut off on its own. For minutes, I stood there, breath caught in my throat, trying to make sense of what I had just heard. Continuing upward, I soon found something on the ground. Footprints. Normally, footprints of other hikers follow a forward path, but these were different. They didn't go forward or backward. They formed a massive loop, circling endlessly. I examined them closely. Some spots showed dozens of overlapping steps, the soil completely hardened, the grass dead, crushed repeatedly, as if someone had walked in circles for dozens of hours. I followed the looping trail, and at the lowest point found an old, torn backpack, colors faded as if trapped there for years. Inside were an empty water bottle, a ripped raincoat, a compass with its needle spinning wildly, and a small damp notebook, still partly readable. The handwriting was rushed. "We saw the tower. It shouldn't be visible. The fog descended when we got close. All sounds disappeared. Time didn't feel like it was moving." And the last line made the hair on my neck rise. "If you're reading this, don't look back. Don't look at the tower more than twice." I swallowed hard. I had already looked at the tower more than twice. At about 2,700 meters, something impossible happened. All sound vanished. No rustling leaves, no wind, not even my heartbeat, which I could normally hear faintly in my ears. It was as if the world pressed a mute button. Then, to my right, through the thin fog, I saw something. A shadow of a tall structure, not fully visible, but unmistakably similar to the tower I saw the night before. Except this time, I could see it without binoculars. It stood rigid, glowing faintly from within its metallic surface. Not a human-made tower, no ladders, no antennas, no doors. Just a tall, monolithic thing, as if observing the entire mountain. And when I blinked, the tower shifted. Not far, just a meter. But I was certain, absolutely certain, the tower moved. Fog poured down suddenly like a giant curtain. My phone displayed a new message. "Signal acquired.
City beacon connected. Entering perimeter zone. Perimeter zone? Within seconds, as though the fog opened another space, I saw it. A city. Not like any city I'd ever known. No cars, no asphalt roads, no neon lights. The city consisted of tall, smooth structures, surfaces like glass with no reflections. Some were rounded, some curved, some even floating slightly. Everything looked like technology not from our world. And at the center stood the towering structure, the same one with the blinking red light. The tower moved, subtle shifts, as if adjusting its gaze. Toward me. As if it knew who was watching. As if its eyes had just opened. Fog swirled around the bases of the structures, forming gentle spirals like the breathing of a colossal creature. I couldn't move, couldn't blink. Everything looked too real, too detailed, too alive. Yet at the same time, the city looked fragile, like it was barely overlapping with my world. If I stepped 1 meter forward, I felt I would fall into it.
A sound rose behind me, soft at first, then louder. Footsteps. Many footsteps, like a group of people walking quickly, without speaking. I couldn't turn around. The note in the backpack warned against it, but the footsteps approached, closer, clearer, and within them a whisper. Heike, you are too close. I didn't know if it came from humans or something from the fog city, but the voice sounded like many voices speaking at once. I forced my legs to move, fast walk, then run, but every time I glanced slightly, the shadows behind me stretched, tall silhouettes, faceless, distorted. They didn't run, yet the distance between us remained unchanged, as if they weren't chasing me, but the world itself was shifting to keep them near. I ran until my chest burned, but the city didn't recede. The tower grew closer. The fog followed like a living thing, as if I wasn't escaping the city, but being herded toward its gate. Just when I couldn't run anymore, my phone rang. A ringtone I'd never set. The screen displayed, "Unknown City Node 17. I didn't want to answer, but my fingers moved on their own. The same raspy voice spoke, the one from the walkie-talkie. "Don't let the tower touch your shadow." I looked down. My shadow stretched ahead. Behind me, another shadow, huge. The tower's silhouette reached toward mine. If the shadows touched, what would happen? The voice continued, "If your shadows meet, you will become part of the city. We all became part, cannot return." The call cut abruptly. The screen went black. Then one final message appeared. "Beacon locked. You are selected." Selected? For what? I didn't want to know. I closed my eyes and forced myself to stop looking at the tower. I felt the ground, searching for the downward trail. When I opened my eyes, the city was gone. The fog vanished, the forest returned to normal, but the air still felt wrong, like invisible eyes watched every motion. I descended as fast as I could, no stopping, no turning, no drinking. Everything seemed normal until I reached the first checkpoint. The guard at the post stared at me, pale. You climbed alone, right?" I nodded. He swallowed and took out a photo from the entrance CCTV. I was alone in the photo, but 3 steps behind me stood a tall, dark figure, like a shadow shaped into a faceless human, following closely. The guard whispered, "That shadow followed you up to checkpoint 2. Then it disappeared. I froze, and when you came down earlier, I saw you had only one shadow. But as you got close to this post, he pointed at the ground behind me. I turned, trembling. There were two shadows, my shadow and another, towering, as tall as the tower itself.
Since that day, my life hasn't been the same. At night, a faint red reflection always appears on my bedroom wall. Sometimes I hear a deep, distant hum, like a colossal machine running somewhere far away. Sometimes my phone shows signal acquired, city beacon detected. I shut my windows, turned off my lights, but the red reflection remained, even with no source. Sometimes I dream again of the fog city, standing at its edge as the tower moves, scanning, searching. And before I wake, a voice always echoes, "You have been chosen. We are only waiting." Now, every step I take feels watched, every shadow feels borrowed, and every night I feel something tall, silent, patient, standing just out of sight, waiting, always waiting, until the city calls me back for the final time.